Hello and welcome to another new episode of Learning Simplified. In our previous tutorial so far, we have built our template and we can see that this is the outcome, the result. Now the point is that we have made the entire template, but there is a little bit of discrepancy. If we now press Ctrl+Shift+M, we can see that this is the mobile responsive view. And here we can see that under this mobile responsive preview, where the device width is 320 pixels, here goes the outcome, as we can see right over here. And here goes the horizontal scroller, which is appearing right at the bottom of the page. But this is not the intended one. If our page is defined as a mobile responsive one, there shouldn't be any kind of horizontal scroller into our page. But as we can see that it appears, this is due to the fact the container width is much more than the device width, and it is not exactly fitting into the device width as been described right over here. So this is what we need to know in this tutorial. In this tutorial, practically we are going to make our site mobile responsive. So stay tuned. Now the exact intention is to make our site mobile responsive up to 768 pixels. This means up to 768 pixels, the site, it will be behaving in some separate manner, in some distinguishing manner. But right above this 768 pixels, for say if we make usage of this 769 pixels, the properties, all the CSS properties and the CSS rules, everything will be different for this kind of device width. So this is what we are about to make. We are practically turning our site mobile responsive for up to 768 pixels, and we'll be observing whether we are capable to do it or not. We will be heading back to our project, and here goes this HTML with CSS.html page, where we can see that we had so far coded up each and every elements into our project, and we are not going to make any changes into this .html page at all. Instead, we will be heading back to this style.css, and this is the place where all the CSS rules and properties are practically being described. And here, this is the part where we will be practically making all the changes. We will be adding some definite codes to make our site mobile responsive. So in that manner, first of all, this is the part, this is the comment section that we have created regarding this respect, and here we are about to make usage of a certain CSS rule which is known as @media. So here we are now mentioning that the max width property, it will be hanging up to this 768 pixels. And within these curly brackets, we are practically going to define all the CSS rules required in this respect, which will be applicable for any device width which is equals to or below the 768 pixels. This is what is been exactly mentioned right over here. We have mentioned that the max width of the media up to 768 pixels, and under this condition, the CSS properties or CSS rules will be as been written right over here. Now, for a certain moment, we will be pausing and we will be heading back to our project, and we will be looking into the web page that we have created regarding this respect. So where are the exact changes which should be made? In the first case, if we target this footer section, we can see that in this footer section everything seems to be quite alright, but here is the place where we need to make some certain changes. Like if we wish to change the font size, which has been used right over here, so all we need to do, we need to head back to our project, and in the first case, let's see which is the element which can be changed regarding this respect. So if we right click on it and if we inspect it with the code inspector panel, we can see that here goes the element responsible for any kind of changes. It is the footer wrapper H1. So all we are going to do, we will be copying this name from here, the selector name footer wrapper H1, and we will be heading back to our project. We will be pasting it, and we are about to now define what is the font size exactly going to be under the max width condition of 768 pixels. So the font size, I would like to scale it down to, for say, 1.8 rem or for say 1.6 rem. So under this max width condition of 768 pixels, the font size of this footer wrapper H1, it will be set to 1.6 rem, but beyond, for say from 769 onwards, the footer wrapper H1 size will be now scaled up to the default footer wrapper H1 font size, which has been described in the original style.css. It is going to be 2.6 rem for 769 pixels and onwards. So press Ctrl S in the first case. Let's close this code inspector panel and reload, and we can see that it seems to be proper into its place. In the next case, we would like to scale down the footer wrapper element fitting into the 100% device width. So that is why we will be heading back here. In the first case, this is the footer wrapper and this is the footer part, which is practically taking care of all the rest of the elements inside. We will be now copying this selector name from here. Let's head back to our @media query where we had written down this media query, and right outside this dot footer wrapper H1, we will be pasting the selector name. We will be setting all the CSS rules. So the width, it should be 100%. There it goes. Press Ctrl S, reload. So everything seems to be alright. Now if we inspect, we can see that the footer part, it is practically having a width of 100% right over here, as been mentioned under this condition. Now let's examine that what is going to be the result under this 320 pixels. And we can see that this is exactly going to be the result. In the next case, we need to adjust the font size which is been used into this paragraph element. So we will be heading back to our text editor and we will be now making usage of the same selector name right over here. As we can see that this is the footer wrapper paragraph which has been customized here. We will be copying it. Let's head back, paste it. Paste it right over here. And here we are mentioning that the font size, it should be for say 1 rem. So we can see that we are practically able to reduce the font size under the max width condition of 768 pixels. And what is it going to be? Let's have a double check on this footer wrapper paragraph element. We can see that the font size was set to this 1.1 rem and we had set a margin bottom of 1 rem. So everything goes right over here. Now if we press Ctrl S and if we now reload, we can see that the font size is now reduced. Everything seems to be normal in its proper place. We may reduce this H1 element into a lesser value. So instead of this 1.6, we will be now using this 1.5 rem. There it goes. So everything so far is fine. But we can see that still the horizontal scroller is appearing. So we need to customize each and every elements present into this web page to make it properly mobile responsive. In the next case, we will be now customizing the services section that we had created so far in this respect.